Hello YouTube, this is The Bucket coming to you with our first installment of a series called The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly. This is the 150, 250, and $350 dollar guns. This is the C9 HiPoint. This god-awful, ugly gun is the brainchild of a couple of people that decided we want to produce a firearm that costs less than $200. And this was kind of unheard of at the time. And they decided that they were going to try to appeal to the market for people that just don't have a lot of disposable income, but yet still want to own a firearm. So how did they attack this problem? Well, the first thing they did was said, let's use less expensive materials. So now this gun came out in 1992, and polymer guns had been around, but steel was still kind of the steel and aluminum were definitely still kind of mainstay materials to be making firearms in the United States. And they said, we're going to use a polymer frame because you know what? Polymer is cheaper. And then they said, you know what? Steel is gooder, but we're just going to go with good, and we're going to use a zinc alloy material to produce our slide. And that's why you get this gun that has this texture to it. It's a less expensive material to use, and they said the only thing we're going to use steel in is for the barrel, and then we're going to have some reinforcing brackets down in here as well, and that's going to help us cut cost. But when they did that, that just was not enough to get the cost of this gun to under $200. So they said, okay, what else can we do? Well, with the advent of the Colt 1911, most gun manufacturers, with the exception of a couple of gun manufacturers, the P7 used the delay blowback, the P9S used the roller delay, falling blocks, a couple other, but most kind of fell in love with John Moses Browning's short recoil lockup. And why you need that is when the firing pin hits the primer, it starts a whole chain of events, and it starts to push this bullet down the barrel. Now, with a round like 9mm, where there is so much energy and so much force, the bullet does not have enough time to get out of the barrel before this slide wants to start opening. So what that would do is, Newton's third law says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, which means the amount of force that's going out or down the barrel is coming back at you as well. And if this does not hold locked up, that casing in the back isn't strong enough, and that will blow out the back of your case, and now you have the same amount of energy going out coming back at your face, and that's dangerous. And you could have a catastrophic failure, and that's bad. That's no bueno for anybody. So what John Moses Browning came up with is, if I could lock the barrel to the slide for just a little bit, just that amount right there, that will give me enough time that will let the bullet leave the barrel, and then that pressure can start venting out the front. Then force will take over, and if I get a close up here, as it moves back, you will see that that barrel starts to dip down and go down. And once it is no longer locked to the slide, it will come all the way back, holding on to that case, hit that ejector, that case comes out, that will pick up another bullet and go into the barrel and be ready to go bang again. But if you can see, straight line, this barrel is now canted up, which means, and if you noticed it, it doesn't take very long before that barrel starts moving, which means that a short recoil gun has some natural inaccuracies built into it. What HiPoint decided to do was to go with an action called direct blowback, which is used in a lot of guns and smaller calibers. You'll see it in the 22s, 25s, 32s, and you see it a lot in the 380s, where the barrel's actually pinned to the gun, which means this barrel does not move, which has a good benefit in the fact that it makes accuracy a little bit better, but it also means that you don't need the tight tolerances. So the way that this works is this barrel is actually locked into this slide, which means the manufacturers have to have extremely tight and precise tolerances when they're milling all these pieces out, which just increases the cost of the gun. So between using cheaper materials and using a cheaper lockup design, they could keep the cost of this gun down, and all they had to do was add extra mass to the slide and make the recoil spring a little bit stiffer. So you saw this with the Astra 600 in World War II. Dreiss tried to make their famous 1907 in a larger caliber, never could quite get the kinks worked out of it. But the HiPoint is one of the few guns that successfully did a straight blowback 9mm. So that's how they got this gun to be sub $200. So I went and I picked this gun up. We did the unboxing of the 3 guns that we're going to use for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Obviously, this is ugly. I will give you that for sure. But what we need to do as gun people is to forget what we decided to purchase, because my VP9SK is a better gun than this. But the purpose of these videos is to give you a little bit of information about the gun, but also see exactly what you get for 150 bucks. Because I have people asking me all the time, what gun should I get? And I have to ask them about the price. And I want to be able to tell them what a $150 gun looks like. Now, there are some short sides to this gun. For instance, to disassemble this gun, you need a tool. You need a punch specifically, and it's actually a punch that I don't own. So I've got one in the mail, guys. Don't worry, I've got it coming. Also, there is no way to get, if this slide locks up, there's no way to get this slide down without removing the magazine. So one kind of cool feature is that mag does pop right out of there. 8 rounds in that mag. Then you can just pull the slide back and it will come in. It does have a safety. Now, the bucket here does not and will not carry a gun that has a safety. I don't know how many times I was at the range and I put up that safety and I would just look like an idiot trying to pull the trigger and forget that I had the safety on. I will tell you that this is not, you could learn how to use this, but it is a tight safety. I will continue to work with it and see if it loosens up. Again, this is a brand new gun right out of the box, so we'll see what else that comes with. Now, I will tell you the sights on this gun I'm very impressed with. They're very easy to acquire because they use 2 different colors, orange in the back, yellow in the front. That is not UGD11 on there. That is how this gun comes out of the box. There is no magazine disconnect safety in this, so you can actually practice dry firing it, which in a pandemic you may not have access to a lot of ammo. So that's a nice side note. And I will tell you, I've practiced dry firing this trigger, and this is not the worst trigger that I've ever had. And I did lie to you, it does have a magazine disconnect safety. It's not the worst trigger. So one of the things that I found very, very interesting with this gun is there's a surprising amount of upgrades you can do to it. And seeing as though I'm probably going to be stuck on this gun for the rest of my life, we're going to see how gooder we can make this gun. So I've got some goodies in the mail, and later on we'll do some videos. Maybe we'll doll up these grips a little bit. Maybe there's something special I can attach to the slide, and I even found a holster. So the bucket may be carrying himself a C9 as his EDC for a little bit. We'll see how accurate I can get with it and see if I can actually safely carry this big bad boy. You know, I think this is going to be an interesting test, and we're going to see what it looks like. We'll get some range video for you guys. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. I'd love to hear any comments that you have. If you know anything about these guns that you want me to try out or you want to see, please just throw those in the comments down below. If you have a friend that's interested in videos on guns, or would like to know something about guns, or maybe you know somebody that is looking to purchase an inexpensive firearm, go ahead and share this video as well. And you guys stay safe out there. And this is the Bucket signing off.
I learned a lesson. Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.